Good day, lords and ladies, and welcome back to Pillars of Eternity with me, Cornish-Knight. Now, I just thought I'd change over our pets to the hound to see what it looks like.
Leave it to me.
Well, there's the hound. No, I prefer Space Piggle. Gwen will pocket the black hound, and the black hound can go in. Well, he can have it, he can carry it. He can't equip it yet, which is a shame. But Gwen can have it located. Yeah, AI behaviours. Oh, we can actually set AI behaviours, that's cool. Defend self. We'll turn off use per rest abilities, just use the normal ones. We'll do the same for her. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. So that's done. So what are these guys? Deslock. So what is this? This is Deslock Natchatep. As you near, you fear vibrant history containing the essence of this man's soul. Voices from his past seem to call to you. You see a man soaring through the air, hitting a nearby wall with a nauseating crunch. He doesn't get up. His attacker, a burly, clean-cut warrior with a carnivorous grin, turns and shoves his fist into the stomach of another assailant, removing another from the impromptu brawl. The bar is a whirlwind of elbows, knees and fists and feet, with no end in sight, and he is in his element. In the corner, the three smaller men speak quietly, throwing malicious glances at the larger man in the centre. He breaks a chair over a tattooed head, cackling. The trio position themselves in three parts of the room, and with a terse nod they charge. Unfortunately for them, the man sees them coming, something in his eyes burns brightly, and all three slump to the ground in agony. That's all in their minds. The burly man bows to the room of the unconscious and incapacitated before sauntering out, only key whistling an off-key whistle trailing behind him. That's cool. So who's this? Sane Snake Mulrain. As you near, you feel the vibrant history. Yeah, so we really, Gwen will reach out, she can feel their souls vibrating. She'll reach out and touch them one at a time. You see emaciated boy in chains, black holes for eyes, staring sightlessly at a wall. A man in a dark coat walks in, a scroll and oddly shaped quill in his hand. The boy glances at him expressionless. A corpse waiting for animation. The man just chuckles to himself, disapproval clear in his throat. The boy stands, limbs hanging. The man takes the quill and begins to write on the boy's chest, copying sharp, angular symbols from the scroll. The child doesn't flinch as the quill digs into the skin, drawing blood as it goes. The wizard finishes with a flourish and barks some arcane command, setting the symbols to glow dull. The boy cries out, knees hitting the stone hard, his chest burning black and red. Finally, the glow disappears, leaving only the hard black scars etched into his skin. He slumps sideways, twitching, eyes facing into the back of his skull. The wizard grunts, kicking him on the leg. On his way out, the boy lies on the floor until dawn, eyes still black like holes, twitching, growing into convulsive shakes. Dang, that's nasty. And there's this one here as well. He'll reach out and touch her soul as well. You see a long, empty road cutting through two full crop fields. The air is silent and the land seems too still for the early afternoon. This woman walks slowly on the road, leading a horse, curiously looking around. She seems to sense something's wrong, but is unable to discern what it is. She stops, sniffs at the air, her nose high, her brow crinkles as she casts about, looking for something. The air is clear, no clouds. She sniffs again, still looking around, confused, clouding her face, mouthing a single word, fire. In confusion, she looks across the field. Her confusion turns to fear. She holds her hand up to block the sun from her eyes and scans the field again. Not finding what she's looking for, she jumps on the horse back and fear quickly becoming panicked. She kicks, sending the horse shooting down the path, which bends around some trees to where the farmhouse should be. She pulls up horror now in residence on her face as she stares at the burnt and charred mess that used to be her family's home. Tears well up in her eyes as she kicks again, racing into the rubble. Man, like, Gwen's gonna have some serious mental issues after this. If she wasn't already a godlike that enjoys battle. And paralysed and petrified. Right, so we're out on the veranda. Now, that's done. Journal. That's the bibliography. Bestiary. Law of the Caissons. Adrian Empire, we know that one. Nation result from a merger of human kingdoms and elf kingdom 400 years ago, ruled by the first king, or Mirwin, illustrious queen. Both Deerwood and Redcrass originated as colonies. So Redcrass colonies. The Deerwood, a colony nation founded by settlers from the Adrian Empire following a series of conflicts with Adria. The territory became independent in 2672 AI, now ruled by a duke who was elected by several earls overseeing its fiefdoms. Earl Glanfaf, we know what this is, territory comprised of forests south-east of Bale River, populated by indigenously by groups of loosely affiliated tribes collectively known as the Glenfathans, governed by a council of the six most powerful tribes. Earl Glenfaf is the home to a large number of ruined F-Withen sites, which Glenfathans hold as sacred. The ruins have been at the centre of a number of large-scale conflicts. In the Valayan republics, right, we know what that is. Large merchant, basically a bit like Venice. Stuff we know: Hollowborn, an infant born without a soul. We haven't known about this stuff. We've got books and stuff to read as well. Wasn't there supposed to be one of our former companions, the woman who died in the Vale? I told her that's not the pistol. Someone laughs. Wasn't one of our guides supposed to have family in town? What's this? Weapons sealed in armour with... Who's this? Uthra. Uthra's house. A Deerwood woman is standing in front of her fireplace, humming a quiet tone to herself, or perhaps to her unborn child, for she is clearly pregnant. She turns her head slightly as you enter.
Welcome.
Well, finally, I was starting to think the woman makes a strange, startled noise once she turns around to see you. Oh, I'm sorry. I expected someone else. She gives you a curious smile. I'm glad I can help you. I just arrived in Guildvale. I thought I'd get to know the locals. Nice cat. Who were you expecting? It's like, who you were expecting? Inquires Gwen, and she glances around. After forcing her way into this person's home, I may add. My sister, Kalisa. This is Kalisa's sister. She's travelling one of the caravans. She sent a letter before she came. Said she was going to pay her way by working as a guard for the caravan master. She always was a tough one. She pauses. I don't suppose you've seen her on the road, or the caravan perhaps. It's Master Odmar's. The caravan was attacked and we escaped, but Kalisa was caught in a bellwick. I was with the caravan. I'm afraid the rest of the caravan is killed. Kalisa didn't make it. Let's go with this one. The caravan was attacked and we escaped, but Kalisa was caught in a bellwick. Afura's mouth covers her mouth with a hand, her eyes wide of horror. For a few moments she can manage nothing but a strangled, voiceless gasping, her eyes brimming with tears. I told her it was a dangerous path to take. Kalisa was always so certain she could take on any danger. Oh, Farah sniffs. Oh, poor sister, I'm sorry, stranger, I can't believe she's gone. If only I hadn't called her here. If I hadn't written to her, she might still be alive somewhere. Orfra's face crumples and solitary tear slides down her cheek. Why did you send for Kalisa? Kalisa mentioned that she thought you needed help. Perhaps I could provide some assistance. Quit your snivelling. How are you going to raise a child if you're this weak? Is there anything I can do? Let's go with, why did you send for Kalisa? Blunt and to the point. Ufura's wipes her eyes. I'm worried about my baby, about the legacy. I told Kalisa as much as I could, but all I know is that a long time now, every child born in Gilded Vale has been soulless, empty. It happened to so many mothers, and Lord Redrick, he exiled to more, calling a sign of the gods' disfavour. She sniffs. With my half-hurt gone, I don't know how I'd manage if I lost my home too. I hope Kalisa could help me. They say Rengard, the old midwife, knows a way to prevent the child being hollow-born, but she moved south to the Anslog Compass 2 seasons ago. The journey is too far for me. I can't make it as I am, but I don't have anyone else. Now with Kalisa gone, mother's more tears runs down her face. Please, can you help me? I can find Rengar for you. That's a long way to go. What's in it for me? It's a long way to go. I'm not one for charity. Handle yourself. But it's a long way to go. What's in it for me? I can only offer you coin. But Rengar has many potions crafts for sale. Maybe you'll find something of interest, so it wouldn't be wasted trips. She sniffs. I'm sorry. I don't have much. You're welcome to some for my food if you want. I have some fruit. I'll think about it if I ever head that way, declares Gwen. Afura nods, her expression falls. That's all I can ask, thank you. She takes a shaky breath. I'm sorry, I need a moment. She turns away, covering her face with her hands. Right, new quest, the Mother's Plea. Remember, folks, we only get XP for completing quests. This worn, dog-eared book is titled Travels Upon the Cledgale Sea. Cledgale Sea. There is an etched illustration of a vast finned leviathan. There's a cat. That's stealing. Okay. Right. Remember that we only get XP for completing quests, so it's in our interest to basically used to have lots more fortune tellers come through. Lord Redrick had them all, chased them, or had us all chase them off. Right. I'm basically interested in taking this quest because we don't get XP. You don't get XP in this game for killing stuff. You only get it for completing quests. Who's this? Zolk the Usurper. As near, you feel the vibrated history contained. Yes, so it's another soul vision. You see a lone man standing in a field. He looks around, surveying the crops. Occasionally he bends to examine a leaf up close. He is intent on what he is doing, completely absorbed in his work. This man approaches from behind. He moves slowly, but does nothing to mask his approach. In his hand he holds a large sword. It appears to be no malice or hatred in the man's demeanour. He almost seems pleased. The first man hears his approach and stands, turning away from the plant he's inspecting. His face breaks to a smile as he opens his arms to welcome the approaching man. The smile freezes into a grimace. The second man thrusts a sword through his stomach. Its blade now protruding from his back. His arms slowly fall to his side, and blood starts to drip from the sword onto the plants below the man. As the first man crumples to his knees, the second pulls the sword out, a tear slowly falling down his cheek as his still smiling face. Dude, really? Dang. Then we have Clink. What does his soul say? You see a small group of people gathering around the ruins of a house. The destruction continues out from the single dwelling through the entire village. Not a single building still stands. Rubble is scattered everywhere. One of the men in the group leans over something in the debris. It's the man, younger, barely more than the boy. The man reaches out and shakes the boy by a shoulder. The boy makes no sound, does not respond to the man's disturbance. The man looks up to the other members of the group and shrugs, standing to rejoin his friends. The boy suddenly sits up, eyes wide. He scrabbles backwards away from the group, looking around in horror. The group move towards him in unison, eliciting a yelp from the boy, who tries to move further away. A woman in the group puts out a hand, stopping the rest. She turns to them reproachfully, motioning for them to stay, then looks at the boy on the ground, who's trying to push himself through what remains of the wall. He seems unaware that he has even stopped. The woman slowly moves towards the boy, hands out, speaking in a low, calming tone. For a time, the boy doesn't even hear. He just closes his eyes and braces himself against the wall, expecting violence. Eventually the woman's words work through fear and he hears her. He opens his tear-filled eyes and stares at her. She holds out a hand to him. He looks seemingly confused by the offer and hesitantly reaches out. He takes the hand in hers and leans down to help him stand. Okay. I forgot, I've got... That is something I've been meaning to do. We have hoods. Well, we have helmets. Do these give protection of any kind? How do we tell if it gives armor? Okay, so it says damage reduction. These don't have damage reduction from what I can tell, I don't think. Do they? No, they don't. No. Maybe if they're magical, perhaps. That looks cool. Maybe we can give that to her. I was always one for a flashy hat. Flashy hat it is. For the win. Fashionable headgear. Right. Let's have a look around the village. More collectible mushrooms. Settler's arrow. Oh, wrong thing. This distinctive mushroom has shaped like an arrowhead, protruding from the side of tree trunks. Okay. So... can't make any food. Iron skin, but that uses up that. And it costs us a lot of money as well. There's so much stuff to make in this game. Do you have anything we can... I'd like to try and get something like a secondary damage type. Would that need primal flame, primal rock? Right, so that needs elemental stuff to do it. And this is slaying. Yeah, we need like moonstone and stuff as well. Yeah, okay. These happy bunts of souls. Keep out of trouble. Move along. Right. Has he got anything to tell us? Welcome to our lovely village. Okay, no, so he's as helpful as a wet fart, as they say, to be crude. That's back to the inn. That goes to the world map. That's just that. Another villager. What's this? Despite the rain, the stalks feel as dry and stiff as a locust husk. Okay, so those guys. So this is the curse taking hold. I take it. Another soul search. You see a group of people standing around a wagon transfixed on a sword as it swings in a large, graceful arc. The man holds the sword, passing it from one hand to the other with relaxed ease, making the blade dance in front of his audience. He tosses it into the air, spins, and puts his arm behind his back to catch it. The crowd claps excitedly, and a couple of them gasp, certain they were about to see a tragedy. And I take it he has another vision as well for Hugo. You see a room bright, warm, and covered in greenery. There isn't a spot in the entire space that doesn't have some kind of plant growing in it. Small germinating seeds in the corner here, large sprawling vines clambering the walls there, though most of the plants are actually in some kind of container there. Few have grown from the dirt floor itself. These are just as lovely cared for as anything else in the room. The man wanders through the plants, smiling at each and every one, an old pipe clenched between his teeth. Stopping next to one, he touches a leaf. Lifting it up to look at the underside, he then gently rubs it between his fingers. He takes a small handful of soil it grows in and crusts it in his fingers. Satisfied, he drops soil back into the pot and continues into the next plant. He hums a low, cheery tune as he moves amongst the plants, occasionally stopping to sing a few words of something to one of them. Finally, he reaches the door. Having visited every plant in the room, he turns back to look at them, a look of serene pleasure on his face. Then he steps back and is gone. Ah, interesting. He's a gardener. There's something growing here.
Just say the word.
What's that? Pilgrim's Grace.
Just say the word.
So it's another resource. More villagers. Taunton's one of the best smiths in the Drywood, but his stock has been lousy lately. Sorry, Tuartanos. So we're up into this. Man, this is a big village. Oh, cool. So we don't actually have to explore everywhere. It's already marked. So that's the blacksmith's, Ingod's hut. Wasn't that one of these people we found? Someone outside the village that had got killed, hadn't they? Road south, road west. Someone had got eaten by a bear. I wonder if they've reported to the death. Someone must have reported the death. Been thinking about joining family over in the Deerwood. They have it far better than us. Yeah, well, to be honest, lady, you got a curse on your land. It's not surprising they have it better than you. Right. Some more herbs to collect. Barrow spell. Ah, that's what we needed for one of the abilities that makes our weapons better against well, when they say kith, they mean the humanoid races. So if we can get, I think it's moonstone. If we can find some moonstone, we can augment our sword so we can basically kill humanoids better. Right, so let's run down here. Another villager, what's he have to say? You think this rain will be a boon to the crops? You think this rain will be a boon to the crops? Yeah, well, it's not, is it? Black Hammer Smithy. Bunch of people, guard, common apprentice. So that's all robbery to steal that. Dented and dull, these swords look ready for the forge. Harlan, Orson. So we've got another soul trance. You see a man crouched serendipitously and alone, a series of untamed shrubs, all that hides him from the visions ahead. His eyes are locked on a Dillam gang, a beautiful, terrible, eyes half-fitted as he hums. The bird with fantastic blue on orange plumage sits on her shoulder, trilling gently, and the man is entranced. Trembling tentatively, he stands, and the tranquility is broken by the bird's startled squeak. The Dillam gang half smiles, beckoning with twig-like fingers. He does not speak of his as he approaches. His mouth is dripping sounds of awe and admiration. She waits, coy and tempting, and with agonizing slowness he is before her. Then something changes. He sees something hanging limply from his side, begins to hiss. Fingers suddenly claws, and eyes black with hate. He has no time to reach for his axe or grimoire as he strikes, and just as soon as he strikes, he is gone. The only evidence of existence, the shuddering wreck on the ground. He grabs at his grimoire nevertheless and begins to chant, but the words of magic language of his own imagination, scribbles into a maniacal shorthand, ring hollow, and the silence continues unabated. He turns and shrugs at someone or something. but if there is something there, you do not see it. Oh boy, okay. And this is Durgun's Steelcaller. So we can see what his secrets lie. You see a group of adventurers surrounded by a crowd of attacking orcs rips. This man is with them, seemingly unconscious, unconcerned by the battle, even detached from it as he stands in the middle of his comrades chanting, his expressions bordering on elation. His voice is powerful and deep, booming out across the combatants as a rich counterpart to the chaos of the fighting. With every phrase, the battle flow changes. His allies glow with pulsing blue light, freezing the orcs rips that surround them. Blazing pyres erupt from the ground, chanting, cutting and burning the creatures and sending them scattering. One of the fallen orc rips suddenly explodes as three giant grubs crawl from its corpse, attacking the remaining enemies. Man continues to chant, thoroughly enthralled in the joy of the moment. Finally, the creatures have been reduced to one. His allies stand back as the man approaches it, still chanting. He removes his hammer and swings at the orc's rip. His phrase ends as the hammer connects with his head, punctuating the spell and bringing its song to an end. Dang, what's wrong with these people? An account of Tortuna's sales. The pages are nearly empty. Tortanu is an Ormau man of imposing build, towering above his countertops. Towering above his countertop. His skin is a dusky blue of the deep oceans, and his thick arms boast corded muscles, small ears, frame a square jaw faced, coated and smeared soot and arching black tattoos. He offers you a broad smile as you approach. Welcome, you're the first new face I've seen in quite some time. What can I do for you? Is this your shop? Inquires Gwen. That it is. Been here nearly 20 years now. Seen all manner of things over the years. Good luck and bad. Tuatanu glances at the guard standing watch along the wall, but the black hammer smithery remains. What do you have here? You come to us at a strange time, I'm afraid. The stock's not what it used to be, but with fine weapons and armour to offer yet. All forged right here at the Black Hammer. So what happens? What happened? Inquired Gwen as she glances around at the empty cells and crates. We just don't have the supplies. Been expecting a next delivery for near on a week now and haven't seen sign of it. Have to expect that they've hit by bandits. The road out east is crawling with them. Sorry. All my workers ran off with the wagon themselves. Maybe to make some. All my workers ran off with the wagon themselves. Maybe to make some coin. Tortuna snorts, as if that lot would dare. He's right about the bandits. Dire situation in the village like this, and the exodus to the cities has created far too many opportunities for unscrupulous sorts, declares Alof. Tuatanu scratches his jaw, thinking, if you help me head that way, if you happen to be heading that way, maybe you could keep an eye out for a supply wagon or my shipment at least. They've been cutting through the Black Meadow, I expect. Only good road for it. As it is, most of my weapons go to His Grace Lord Raedric. Tuatanu glances at the nearby guard. And that's as it should be, but it doesn't leave much for outsiders. We just don't have the iron. Where are the wagons travelling from? Inquires Gwen. We send the wagon up to New Hallmark with weapons, and it swings around through Logholm and like to purchase supplies. Shortest route back is through the Black Meadow, and then north through the wilds. Tuatanu shakes his head. Had a trader come through with word he had made it to Logholm, but haven't heard anything since. We'll see them back safe and sound. I'll find your supplies. We'll find your supplies, because obviously this will be beneficial to us. Tuatanu nods. Then you have my thanks. Bring the supplies back and I'll have plenty more to offer you. A discount to start. Oh, and if you find my workers, I'll tell them to hurry it up, or they can take up farming instead. Okay. Let's try to talk to the apprentice. Sorry, I have to keep this at this, or Tortanu will have my hide on the rack next. Right, what's up here on this shelf? Daily affirmations of focus and efficiency. Okay. What's that? Daily affirmations of focus and efficiency. Your areas can be reforged into lessons. Idun rebuilds himself from the ruin. No setback is insurmountable, not even death itself, so long as the soul is dedicated to the task. So these are like things to keep you going, is it? Number 2, work hard, work well. Adion demands only honest labour and forthright service. All errors can be reforged if your first intentions are pure. Point 3, all ignorance can be reforged into knowledge. Master your craft, excel at what you have been trusted to do. Do not offend your teacher by remaining a student forever. Point 4, each generation must forge its successors. Teach your trade to all who are willing to learn, and in doing so multiply the fruits of your knowledge. Point 5, all difficulties can be reforged into triumphs. Meet strife with humility and acceptance. Let adversary tempt the ingot of your will, and you will never shatter. Embrace your station. Fulfill your duty of your rank, and meddle not in the affairs of your betters. All guilds fail at their weakest link. All loss can be reforged into strength. Profitable work heals all emptiness. So long as you have the tools of your trade, you can always be able to forge wealth anew. Number 8, value the work of others and they will value your work in return. Share the harvest with the hungry and your tools with the destitute. Point 9, all souls can be reforged into whatever we will. Hard work is no exclusive to life. Death is no time for complacency. Commit yourself to excellence in this cycle and the next. Yeah, okay. I take it that's the forge. The bellows sigh in the furnace and the coals burn brightly still. Right. And that's stealing, that's stealing. We will get a discount if we find his supplies, he said. So we need to find his supplies. There's the windmill up the hill as well. What's in here? Ale. Yeah, take it. We can use ale, to be honest. I think this is the bloke that got killed by the bear when we found them wandering through the woods. I think this is his house. Yeah, it is. Ingold Norton. Deerwood Part 2, The Broken Stone War. Okay. Bottles of Sunrid are half empty. Okay. Ingold, this man and woman appear to have been in deep conversation, working at closing two bungs in satchel as they move to embrace until the woman notices your approach and pauses a small faltering a little.
Welcome.
Can we help you? She looks at her companion, brows furrowing confusion. Do you know this woman, Norton? Norton coughs. Yes, I think we've met in the Vale Wood. I warned her about the bear. He inclines his head. Glad to see you made it. Was there anything else you wanted? You two seem to be in a hurry. You two are in good spirits, people who just lost a friend. Is there something you can tell us about Good Vale? Let's go. You two seem to be in good spirits for people who just lost a friend. That's unkind of you to say. I'm grieving for my husband in a fashion. I'm only sorry I could not convince him to leave Gilded Vale before this happened. I am relieved to be rid of this terrible place. That's all. It's cost me a great part of my life. You two seem to be in a hurry. Yes, I imagine so, Ingrid laughs. We're packing for a trip, Axia. It's been meaning to visit Defiance Bay, and she looks Norton. Well, in truth, I think I've had my fill of this town. Norton reaches to take a hand. It's time for some new scenery, he says. Goodbye. That's suspicious. Maybe I should look into the bear. Indeed, methinks I need to look into this bear murder. So, he said his friend had been killed by a bear, but he's embracing his dead friend's wife. Because that's not suspicious at all. Okay. More peoples with souls we can read. Let's check out. I'm just going to quickly check out the mill. I know there hasn't been as much action. What the? You know, we know there's more grain in there, Trumbell. Roars at the dwarf. We won't settle for scraps while you grow fat on our crops. Trumbell, a muffled shouting emerges from inside the mill. The first of you drunkards come through the door gets shot between the eyes. God hear me, Swainar. I'll put you down like a dog. Swainar, come away for now, lads. We'll be back, Trumbell, and we'll have fair prices, or by flames we'll have a reckoning. What was that about? Okay, so they're basically ripping each other apart over what seems like food prices? Because that's all that this town needs from the looks of it. Okay, there's nothing here. Right, so this is just a cheery place, isn't it? So we've gone everywhere except for that building there. We haven't gone into the mill. I should go into the mill really. Tumbell, an elf man, stands before you. His relatively stocky build suggests a life of labour. His face is pale and drawn, his eyes wide. Behind him, a young man and woman exchange worried glances. The miller raises a club as you enter. He shakes violently his grip. Get back if you value your life. Hold, I'm not here to hurt you. You could do resolve. Put that down before you get yourself hurt, mutters Gwen sharply. Chumble only raises his cup higher. I mean it. I want her Swainer on his lackeys threatened me in my own mill. Who's Swainer? My name is Gwen Ravenheart. I need to ride in Gilded Vale. I thought you could use some help. Those people out there seem pretty angry. Who's Swainer? The dwarf, the man standing out there spreading lies amongst the villagers. Bastard's been here for decades and he hasn't gotten any kinder with time. The miller hesitates, then lowers his cup in a fraction. Who are you? Is Swinner roping foreigners into his little crusade now? My name is Gwen Ravenheart. I've only just arrived in Gilded Vale. I thought you could use some help. Those people outside seem pretty angry. I don't like being threatened. My name is Gwen Ravenheart. I've only just arrived in Gilded Vale. Tumble shakes his head. You picked a bad time to come visiting. Gilded Vale's had all its signs scraped off. Just a big dung heap now. Swainer thinks he's king of it. They're all of them mad. What was all this ruckus outside? You inquire. Tumble shakes his head. Where to begin? Swainer has whipped them up into a froth, going on about the grain stores. Claims I'm hiding away most of it. All I do with the grain is sell it. I can't create it out of thin air. I can't hand it out for free. I pay the farmers for the crops they bring in, and I sell what comes out the mill. Most of it goes to the Black Hound on the west side of town for the ale. Swenner and his lot don't mind that part. You take a look at the fields on the way into town. The crops are blighted, and most of what I'm getting, and most of what I'm getting from the farmers. Tumble gestures to a sacks and containers. It'll go off rotten. It's gone off rotten though. I can't pay top price for blighted wheat. I've barely got enough good grain to go around. Swenner's howling after things he has no right to. Maybe we ought to get to talk Swenner then. Seems it's a pretty clean story from a situation. We can get a resolve. If you don't want those people in here with torches, maybe you ought to stop lying to me. Let's go with that one. Tumble blinks, taking it back. It's not a lie. The stores really are low, and with so little grain going around, I had to raise the prices for some people. These folks in the town deserve fare better than Swinner and his lot. People have done more for Gilded Vale. People like the magistrate. Maybe I ought to go and have a talk with Swinner then. Swinner's people are farmers. They gathered the grain for you. What do you mean? People like the magistrate? I can't do anything about that, Tumble says, his voice quiet. That's just how it works. Maybe things are different elsewhere. Here, Roderick's men, they keep this village safe, so they eat well. Maybe I ought to go and have a word with Swinner then. You mutter. Swinner's people are farmers, they gather the grain for you. What do you mean? Let's go, and maybe I should have a talk with Swinner then. The miller all but sags with relief. I'll be grateful if you did. He won't listen to me anymore, but maybe you'll have better luck. Tell him we're all having a hard time of it, and we'll have to make some sacrifices. We'll be in your debt for it, if you can convince him. Investigate the feud, resolve the feud between Tumbel and Swinner. Right, this is where we're going to leave it, folks. I've been Cornish-Knight. This has been Pillars of Eternity. We are currently neck deep in a whole host of different troubles. The village of Gilded Vale seems to be pulling itself apart, and we are looking into the souls of dozens of people. It's not good. I shall see you all next time. Please press the like button if you've enjoyed, or please press the subscription button, or both. Or leave a comment in the comment section and I'll get back in contact with you. I've been Cornish-Knight. This has been Pillars of Eternity, and I shall see you all next time. Goodbye.